What's going on, y'all? I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made to Ogerpon from my ROM hack, Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. If this is the first video of mine that you are watching, appreciate you clicking, first of all. Second of all, welcome to my channel. Sorry, this isn't the type of competitive analysis you were expecting. None of this is balanced or competitive play whatsoever. So definitely just keep that in mind when you're looking at my other videos or looking at the decks in the description, which you can click on after you're done with this video. Don't click off yet because it'll mess up the watch time. What I do recommend if you're new here though is pausing the video and then reading the description down below. There's a lot of bullet point lists. There's a bullet point list basically explaining the key points about how this ROM hack is balanced and the way it works. And that'll answer a lot of your questions that you might have by looking at this. But yeah, like any other Pokemon in this ROM hack, they're all meant to be super versatile. So Ogerpon is no exception, right? Outside of the fact that it has 4 forms. I've made the initial form Grass Fairy, which people will either love or hate that, right? There's one party of people who's like, that's super cool, it makes perfect sense, and another party who's like, that's fucking stupid, not everything has to be dual type, da-da-da, you know, the typical arguments people make for any type change. Especially in this case, the only argument that I think is fair against Grass Fairy Ogerpon is the fact that the other types are because of the mask, right? So Heart Flame is fire because of the mask. Cornerstone is rock because of the mask. Wellspring is water because of the mask. But actual Ogerpon, its mask is grass. So you can argue, and I respect that argument that it should be pure grass because all it is just the grass. However, in terms of just the Pokemon itself, Ogerpon fits Fairy type perfectly. I mean, in every aspect of the Fairy type, not only in the because there's many different aspects to Fairy type, right? It's cutesiness, personality, and of course the mythical aspect of it, or the mischievous aspect of it. So there's all different aspects of the Fairy type. It's a pretty vague typing, as well as stuff like Dark and other types like Fighting. You know, but I'd say Fairy is even the most vague because it like genuinely does fit to, like, for example, fucking I don't know, Azumarill compared to Dashbun compared to what's a mythological one? I can't think of one right now, but there are, you know, tons and tons of fairies that are like that are fairy type purely because they're like based on mythological creatures, right? Not every fairy type has to be that. Not every fairy type has to be cute. Not every fairy type has to be playful. But Ogerpon is literally all of those things. It is a mythological ogre. It's based on like Japanese legends. It's literally like the embodiment of fairy type to me. The only thing that makes it weird is the fact that the masks change form, so why is the base form fairy? In my opinion, it makes sense because it's just the base form. That's like the mask that they've always had this whole time before they got stolen. So I personally think fairy makes perfect sense, and then gameplay-wise, it's sick, right? I mean, it makes the base form much more worth using, although it's already much more worth using because of the fact that it can hold an item while the other 3 cannot. So that makes them a lot more versatile in a game, in a ROM hack context. But in general, all 4 of them are super versatile now. So Hustle, man, there's a lot to talk about here, right? Because there's so many new moves, and all of them have different abilities. They all share Defiant. That's the easy one. I'll talk about that first. They all share Defiant because I mean, it's just like, I think if the base form can be Defiant, they should all, like, they all have the same personalities. I think they can all fit Defiant okay. And honestly, it was just difficult to think of a third ability that's unique and worth using over the other ability options and doesn't overlap with other Pokemon of that type combo. And, you know, there's just so many things that go into it. So define all of them, simple, easy. It's relatively niche, especially later on in the game, which is when you'll have Ogerpon. But it's still useful once in a while because Parting Shot will show up once in a while in the AI. Speaking of Parting Shot, I chose to give it to Ogerpon. I've been pretty strict with Parting Shot compared to Sweltering, but I still think it does fit Ogerpon's like mischievous, you know, personality very well. Kind of like how a lot of cutesy type Pokemon get Nasty Plot. I think it fits Ogerpon really well because they aren't super cute and pure. You know, they are still like, they have an edgier side to them, you know. So I think they fit Parting Shot really well. Like the deck entries talk about them being more like, why is this not? Do I have to open Cerebi, bro? How am I going to do that without opening my search history? God, like, I don't want to fucking dox myself. I have, like, school email shit. Whatever, man. All right. Just trust me, okay? Go read the deck entries if you're curious. They're like a mischievous type of Pokemon, right? So I think Parting Shot fits them just fine. And it's a cool pivot move. And I like the move a lot. And so I'm going to be much more lenient with it than in Vanilla, but much less lenient with it than I was in Sweltering, where it's on basically everything. Like, in Sweltering, it was more of a question of if they don't make sense for Parting Shot, you know? Meanwhile, here it's like, do they fit it? Anyway, that's mostly because there's 6 other pivot moves I can pick from, though. Regardless, I'm getting off topic. Ogerpon, I got a lot of shit to talk about, too, so I appreciate you sticking with me. If you made it to this point in the video, leave a comment. You know, I made it to the 5-minute mark, because I am curious on, like, that type of metrics, like who's actually listening all the way through. Hustle, Define, Quick Feet. So the base form is super versatile, not only because it can hold any item, but also because you can run it with Quick Feet with, you know, Toxic Orb. Quick Feet Toxic Orb, and you can outspeed things, and you can switch your moves, unlike with Choice Scarf. Not to mention there is item clause in this ROM hack, intended at least, intended item clause, so you can't run Scarf and freely switch your moves around all the time. Not to mention also moves like Soul Crush, for example. Yeah, excuse me. Moves like Soul Crush, for example, can't be used twice in a row, right? So that's Soul Crush is Fairy type Wicked Blow. So and Play Rough is 100 base power recoil move. 20% recoil. Hoodwink is 80 base power, consistent. That's your reliable option that has no drawback. Befuddle is priority, which can't miss with Hustle. As you can see, all these bolded moves cannot miss with Hustle. So I'm not going to list every single one. Maybe I will later in the video, but for now, you guys can read. I trust that you can all understand that this is good. And then, of course, as it says right here, Hustle and Wide Lens means you won't miss moves. The only inaccurate moves, do these guys have any inaccurate moves? Power Whip? That's it. That's the only move that's inaccurate in this game that they have. Yeah, it's literally it. It's just Power Whip. Besides Power Whip, every single move you have will not miss with Wide Lens. So that's great. That's incredible. You're fast, right? 110 base speed. You can outspeed things and click that Wide Lens Hustle and switch your moves. So that's like a free choice band in a sense. It takes up your ability slot. And then Quick Feet is like a free Scarf in a sense, although you can switch your moves, which, like I was saying earlier, with moves like Soul Crush that can't be used twice in a row, that's much more useful because with Scarf Soul Crush, you have to switch. With Quick Feet Soul Crush, you can get a kill and then outspeed the next mon and click like Frenzy Plant, for example. Frenzy Plant is Frenzy Plant Superpower and Giga Impact all function like Draco Meteor on the physical side. So essentially, you can click those. You can click like Quick Feet, switch in, right? Switch in, get the Quick Feet to trigger. You have good bulk. 80, 84, 96 is very solid for an in-game ROM hack context. That's very, very good. You can, especially for an offensive Pokemon, faster oriented Pokemon, that's very good bulk. Switch them in on a resisted move or an immunity, whatever it is, pivot in, slow pivot, whatever, get your orb to trigger. You can also use Fake Out to get a free Quick Feet trigger. That's also great on a lead, for example, without having to pivot in to get the Quick Feet. Because Protect is removed. Not removed, but it's heavily... Oh, actually, they get Spiky Shield. What am I saying? I was just about to say Protect is limited, except for the variants of it, which are also limited, but those are on more Pokemon. And also, if you're curious about the whole Protect shit, when you're done with this video, you can click here, and there's a big explanation right here. You can pause the video and read that. But anyway, yeah, Spiky Shield means that doesn't matter. Yeah, Spiky Shield gets you the free Quick Feet. Also, defensively, this thing is goated. All of the other forms are goated too. I'm focusing on the base form first because I just want to go in order, I guess. But all of these guys can abuse a lot of these things, right? Especially the defensive stuff on like Cornerstone, like Spiky Shield leads you to sick. But I'll get into it in a bit. Wish or Synthesis, either Wish Passing with like Parting Shot stuff or Baton Pass, or Baton Pass is negative priority now, which is why you would use it, by the way. It's like Teleport. But yeah, Spiky Shield, tons of great utility stuff here. Synthesis, all these nice heal moves. Of course, you can run it defensively, right? That's my point. And then Quick Feet, offensively is great. Makes it the fastest form of the three, which is also really soulful because their embody aspect gives you speed. As for if the Terra is supposed to be allowed, honestly, I would probably say ban it. If you really desperately want to play with it, go for it, but it might be a bit busted because it gives you such a strong boost. Like, I think Stab Terra in general is pretty busted in-game. Terra in general is busted in-game, but at least non-Stab Terra is fucking interesting, at least it's cool and fun to use and, like, unique and just cool. I don't know, but fucking Stab Terra is so lame. It just gives everything adaptability. I think it's fucking lame. I mean, it's kind of cool for dual-type mons, whatever. I don't know. If you want to play with it, you can. I would highly recommend just banning Stab Terra, and I guess that would also include the Terra forms of these guys, because they're great without the Terra fucking form, At that point, it's just kind of broken. But if you want to play with it, you can. It's up to you. It's all self-imposed rules, right? You can play however you want. Speaking of, Loaded Dice, Wallop, Pummel is pretty good, and Bullet Seed, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Bullet Seed, Pummel, Wallop, you got dual stab there and fighting coverage. Horn Leech obviously great on defensive or more defensive ones. All of them have great defensive things they can do. Heart Flame, obviously, I mean, not only... So, on Teamlocked, this thing is great, right? Because it's 4 Pokemon in 1, and you have so many different abilities. Like, it's so fucking versatile. If you get it on Teamlocked, like, if you lose it, that's a skill issue, dude, because you have so much versatility. I mean, every Pokemon in general has so much versatility now, let alone when they have forms like this and different abilities, and the type changes in the forms. It's like, yeah, dude, this guy can do so many different things that you needed to do, resist so many different moves that you needed to resist. Hearth Flame is immune to fire with Flash Fire. And then, of course, as you probably have gathered already, I gave them all a cute little signature ability that's renamed from another one. So obviously, Mold Breaker is the same as Turbo Blaze essentially, and that's why Hearth Flame. So you switch it in, and it says, "Oh, Ogerpon's Hearth Flame is radiating a bursting aura," which is fucking cool as hell. Switching Cornerstone, it says it's Cornerstone, whatever is boosting its defense. That's fucking dope. Keep in mind that was nerfed in Gen 9, so it only works one time. And also you can be crit through the defense boost, but it's still great. I mean, it's great to just either take a hit you wouldn't otherwise be able to take, and then retaliate back with like a Horn Leech or Ivy Cudgel or whatever move you want to throw back at it, you know? But even just for purely defensive sets, like Max HP, Fizz Def, Spiky Shield, Leech Seed, Wish, Stally, Cornerstone is great. Body Press is kind of cute, that's why I threw it on there. It's a cute little option, you know, with Cornerstone, but it's not bad. It's obviously good. +1, you know, 109 base defense is very strong. It's incredibly strong at +1 defense. It's so tanky. And also, if you're curious, my favorite form is Cornerstone. He's fucking dope. I love him. Her, they're all ladies. My bad. Didn't mean to misgender Ogerpon. But yeah, yeah, I love all the masks, honestly. I mean, I think the lamest one is probably Wellspring, even though that one's kind of cool too. Yeah, anyway, Sturdy is obviously incredible, especially because you can't hold Focus Sash because you have to hold the mask, so that's even better. Also, keep in mind all the masks, they're not useless items, right? Like, not only do they, of course, give you the utility of changing your form, but they do give you, I believe it's just a 20% flat damage boost, if I'm not mistaken. I think they used to think it was only on their stab moves, but then they realized it was on all moves. So it's one of the two. It's either stab or all moves. I'm too lazy to Google it right now in the middle of the video. But, yeah, Sturdy is obviously great, and again, you have full freedom to switch between your abilities whenever you need to, so switching to Sturdy, Cornerstone, Hearth Flame. So Hearth Flame is also good because there are a good amount of AI teams with, actually, does Turbo Blaze? No. Energy Shield can't be ignored by abilities because it comes from Shadow Shield, but Multiscale, Sturdy, other shit like that, you can be immune to, or ignore, I guess, with Turbo Blaze, so that's all very good. Even other immunity abilities, you know, like other Flash Fire, Stab Sipper, that type of thing. So that's all very useful. For situations, that's, you know, it's situational. That's why you would run it for a certain situation on Teamlocked, whatever it is. And then Wellspring, I think is super cool. I love having this application for water compaction. It's such a cool ability that's obviously kind of ass outside of doubles on Palossand. I mean, doubles is good, especially with Dynamax and shit. But outside of that context, which is not what this ROM hack is oriented around whatsoever, Wellspring is great because this thing 4 times just water, which is why I removed Water Absorb in the first place. Like, it's just not good. You can argue like Storm Drain if it was a special attacker would be good. I considered a bunch of other abilities for it too for the final slot, but I ended up settling on Wellspring, and now they all have a signature ability, which is super cool. And the beauty of Wellspring is it's pretty easy to bait a water move, right? In game versus AI, it's so easy to bait specific attacks. So you bait that water move with one of your teammates, you send in Wellspring, you take basically nothing, and now you have +2 defense. And you have a high ass SPDF stat, 121, you know, 80, 121 bulk. You run at max HP SPDF, you get the Wellspring boost, and now you can just fucking sit on things forever with Spiky Shield, Leech Seed, Wish, you know, Stall. That's awesome. I fucking like Horn Leech as well. I mean, it's so cool. Ivy Cudgel, it's such a cool, versatile Pokemon, and I love that use of water compaction. I think it's really fucking cool. I definitely cooked with these signature abilities here. And then Elegance is obviously a very nice immunity ability, so you have Sturdy, Flash Fire, and Elegance for like immunity / defensive stuff. Cornerstone is also defensive, so is Wellspring, but you get my point. I like how they have like an immunity / sturdy. Yeah, Elegance is obviously very good. Priority moves are very common in this ROM hack, so being immune to those is very nice. And it's nice to have the option to switch to it. So whenever you need it, you switch to Elegance, you get that immunity. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Hustle stuff, like I said, is great. I mean, 120 attack with Hustle is incredibly powerful. I believe it's about equivalent to base 210-ish. Don't quote me on that. 211, 210, something like that. If I remember my math. So that's great. Follow Me is there for flavor and also for the rhyme double battle. Just I don't know. I was like, fuck it, I'll let him keep it. Whatever. They had the room on the learn set. I was like, let him keep it for rhyme. I don't know. For some situations you could unironically, like I don't know, maybe Cornerstone Follow Me, or for the Last Respect, you know, take that. I don't know. Or like Follow Me, Elegance. Actually, no, that's not how that works. Elegance blocks priority on the whole field. Never mind. On your side of the field, so that doesn't matter. I'm getting sidetracked. You guys get the point, anyways. Yeah, Frenzy Plant dropping your attack and then using Soul Crush after with Quick Feet is fucking awesome. I love that too. You know, switching Spiky Shield, Frenzy Plant, Soul Crush, you know, boom, that's like a beautiful 3-turn combo right there. Hustle plus priority moves like Fake Out into Befuddle or Seed Shot is great. Hustle plus Wide Lens is great. You've got coverage like Acrobatics, Stomping Tantrum, Smart Strike. You can use Hustle Power Herb Solar Blade for a giant nuke if you need to one-shot something super bulky. If that's an option. Again, Teamlocked plus item clause means that you're gonna have to cook a lot of the time. So thinking outside of the box with your sets is always really fun. I think I've covered pretty much everything that's super relevant to talk about though. Also, Ivy Cudgel also works in synergy with Frenzy Plant on the other forms. You can click Frenzy Plant and then click Ivy Cudgel and ignore the attack drop. Same with Superpower, so that's pretty cool. Giga Impact as well. If you got like Terra Normal, I don't know. You know, there's always niche little situations like that. Throat Chop, you know, is nice with Relearner to fucking disable sound moves once in a while on the AI. Draining Kiss with the Spiky Shield Leech Sheet set might be okay for a certain context versus a specific Pokemon to 1v1. Whatever. Think outside of the box. Sky's the limit, right? You got tons of options now. So I'm gonna try to keep it below 15. So I'll end it off here. There are more things I could touch on, like Brutal Swing and Woodhammer being recoil, double edge variants. Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, Mega Horn might seem weird, but they have horns and they learn Horn Leech normally, so that's why I threw that on there. Yeah, thank you for listening. Let me know if you made it to the end of the video. Let me know what you think of these, and I very much appreciate you watching.